Ditto is an interesting Pokemon as it doesn't really have any use in competitive battling, but it's still one of the most useful Pokemon to have in the game. The reason for this is that it's instrumental when it comes to breeding, which is a huge part of building the strongest possible competitive team. The only issue is that Ditto isn't exactly easy to find in Generation 9, as the game uses a new mechanic when it comes to encountering it. So in this video, I'm going to show you where to catch Ditto in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, as if you don't know where to look, it can be very tricky. The way Ditto appears in the wild in Scarlet and Violet is very different to any other Pokemon game before it. Usually you'd either find it in long grass or just wandering around in the wild, but not anymore. If you want to find one now, you have to look a little bit harder. You see, Ditto's only move is Transform, which allows it to shapeshift into whichever Pokemon it wants. So what's cool about this game is that in the wild, Ditto will actually take the form of a different Pokemon. The way you're encountering it is by entering a battle with a wild Pokemon to check if it's actually a Ditto. And if it is, it will transform back into a Ditto as soon as you begin the fight. So, if you want to find one of these guys, head over to Port Marinada during the daytime and roam around this Pokemon Center on the hill. If you're lucky, while you're wandering around, Ditto will show up on your map, but not actually in the wild. If one doesn't show up for you, then try traveling a little bit away from the Pokemon Center to trigger some new spawns. Then you can always fly back to the same spot to reset them anyway, so just do this until one shows up for you. Once one does pop up, you'll need to battle the Pokemon in the general vicinity, as there's no guaranteed way of telling which one the Ditto will be. Simply enter each battle, and if it doesn't transform straight away, just run away from it. Be careful not to stray too far away from the marked area where Ditto is, as if you trigger a bunch of new spawns, it will vanish and you'll have to reset them all over again. Once you do find one, they're pretty straightforward to catch, just weaken it a little and use whichever ball you fancy. Getting a Ditto is a little bit tedious and based on luck, but if you stick at it, you'll eventually find one. The great thing about them is that you're able to breed any Pokemon with it, making it infinitely easier to farm good stats for your competitive team. Also, seeing as it's genderless, Ditto can breed with anything and you'll never get a Ditto egg. It will always be one of the other Pokemon. So if you have a bit of spare time, it's very much worth seeking out and catching one. If this video helped you out in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, then you'll want to watch this other tutorial that I've put on screen for you now.